Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Drury Outdoors 100% Wild podcast, the only podcast guaranteed to make you say, did they just say that?
Why am I watching this?
Where did the last 10 minutes of my life go?
Or, man, where's my life headed?
Why am I getting information from these?
That's Tim Chelsvik. I'm Matt Drury. Yeah, that's right. We're two cohorts looking to cure your Corona blues.
Corona, that sounds like the name of a band.
That's right.
What
Corona
about
Blues.
What about Wuhan Clan?
That is the name of a band, right?
Wu-Tang Clan?
Close enough.
These guys are just a little more ill.
Yeah, so
low-grade fever.
If you haven't caught the last couple podcasts, we are mass filming these things.
Yeah, because we're in the same shirts for all these episodes.
This is our last day in the studio for a while. This is not the end of the world, but we're being responsible citizens, taking our president's kind of, I guess, his recommendations, and we're going to shut down the studio for the next week and a half or 2 weeks. We'll see how it goes. But anyhow, so we're filming a bunch of podcasts so that we have plenty of content over the next 3 weeks in case we are not here to do it in person.
Yep. We are your lifeline in a world sequestered to their homes.
I apologize right now. If this is,
we're not saying it's a great lifeline, but it is a lifeline.
It wouldn't be the lifeline that I would call on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. Like, that would not be for any kind of factual information.
I wonder what Matt and Tim would do in this situation. No one's saying that.
No, they are not. But hey, if this provides any sort of entertainment, now you're talking.
It's powerful.
That's our lane.
And
it's the fast lane too, baby. Entertainment, shenanigans,
and personal injuries.
Tomfoolery.
And there's another word too. It escapes me, but
there's plenty of other words.
Right? Who knows where words come from? We've got Dr. Bric Steward back on with us again, a doctor of chiropractic. Last week we talked about land management, what he's doing on his farm that he's acquired in the past. I guess it'll be his fourth year hunting it, or the fourth year owning it. But he's a chiropractor, and you and I are both not getting any younger.
No, you're 40.
41.
41. Mm-hmm. I'm turning like 39 tomorrow. And
right.
Yeah, the birthday that never was.
I had so much planned, but
yeah.
A lot of it's canceled.
You and my wife both, I'm sure.
Shucks.
Oh, shoot. We can't celebrate your birthday. But here's nope, I didn't even get you a card.
I told Beth, my wife, I was like, I was going to get you a trip to the Bahamas. We were going to go in a couple of weeks. It was going to be a surprise.
Fun fact that you can get a lot of airline tickets pretty cheaply right now, and I believe almost all of them are like fully refundable if you can't go on the trip. So
I'm sure
you should look into that. Like, you better watch what you tell her, because you might be going to the Bahamas.
Look, honey, there's still tickets available.
You know, there's always when times are tough, markets drop. There's opportunity to be had.
Yep.
So
selling toilet paper.
That's for the degenerates out there. Yes,
people are doing that.
I know.
It's
so I call them degenerates.
That's a good
word. If you listen to the show
and you're selling toilet paper,
you probably are our audience, actually. We always said degenerates watch this.
You're making a ground beef and toilet paper casserole, you are evil.
Yeah.
So two things in high demand.
To circle back with where we were headed with this topic is that Tim and I are not getting any younger. We both are starting to experience shoulder, elbow injuries, and a lot of it, honestly, we work from a desk. You know, everybody thinks you get to hunt a lot in the hunting industry. It's not the case. We're mostly at a desk all day, every day. So with that comes very
repetitive.
I'm trying to think of a nice way to say it, but they're wussy injuries that I like to not talk about, but are reality. And I think probably Bric deals with this type of thing all the time. So
very often, yeah. I see a lot of shoulder, elbow tendinitises. I see a lot of it. And a lot of them come to me because they know I'm a bow hunter and they think I know how to work on it. And so I pick up a few people with that.
Yeah, it really concerns me. All joking aside, it really concerns me because
we're not that old.
We're not that old, and bow hunting is such a passion. It's also how we make a living. So you want to bow hunt as long into your life as possible.
That's what I keep telling my wife. For some reason, she always says I make my living in an office, not in the woods.
Yeah, my wife's starting to make that distinction too.
Yeah, so I don't know how much longer we'll be able to get away with that.
Chicken and the egg, baby.
But the point is, not even if it's the way you make your living,
it's important.
It's a passion.
Yeah.
You want to be able to draw your bow back. And it's the reality of which a lot of crossbows are being sold as to why. Mm-hmm. As the hunting population is aging out, basically the baby boomers, as they can continue to age out, they want to continue to hunt as long as they can. And the reality of it is a lot of them just can't pull a bow back from shoulder injuries or deterioration or years of pulling a 70 or 80 pound bow in the 80s or 90s or whatever before these bows got so fast. Mm-hmm. And now they're paying the piper.
So Bric, what are some of the common things that you see bow hunters face as they get older?
Probably the main one is with the shoulder is going to be the rotator cuff. And I think everybody's heard it from baseball, from hearing it with just players having it. And then, but it carries right over into the bow hunting industry also, and any bow hunter. But that's the biggest group of muscles that actually will work or encapsulate the shoulder. Mm-hmm. And so that's the most common one that's injured.
And what is there anything that a bow hunter can do to prevent it?
So with the rotator cuff, usually it's either injured through overuse or what I would call it dysfunctional use or repetitive use, or using it with like not good mechanics, like shooting a bow, for instance. Sometimes people draw back bows in different ways, whether they're pulling too much weight or just not good form or mechanics, and it can really take a toll on some of those muscles.
What would be the most anatomically friendly way of drawing a bow?
That's something I think might be different for everybody. But as far as anatomics, I always tell people when they're using a bow, the most common muscle that you should use would be the posterior part of your shoulder. So whenever you're pulling a bow back, you'll want to squeeze your shoulder blade to your spine to engage more of those muscles. So it's not all shoulder and not all like the actual capsule itself. You're actually recruiting muscle in the shoulder blade and the spine to get your motion to pull it all the way back. That way you're going to make that anchor, and your shoulder is going to be level anyway with your other arm, and your shoulder is going to be pulled back.
So say you are having some issues with your shoulder, and it hurts to pull your bow back. It hurts to do. For me personally, like right now, and this started mid-season, this started early November, I drew back on a doe, and I've had kind of chronic shoulder issues for the last 3 years, got a cortisone shot in it, a few years ago, started feeling better. But once I started kind of working out and, did physical therapy after that, and then started working out and taking a little bit better care of myself, I felt like I got rid of any issues. Well, then last fall, I go to draw back on a doe that basically pegged us early November and got under my craw.
Vengeance kill.
Got my gizzard.
Got your gizzard.
And
triple canopy.
To go back to the previous podcast, wildlife word of the day. But it got in my craw, and so I drew back. And I'm pulling 63 pounds, and I draw back. She kind of busts me on the draw, and then she, stands there forever. I'm thinking I'm going to get a shot. Then she runs off, and she's still looking at us, and there's other deer in the field. And so I held it forever, and then I finally draw down. But man, when I drew down, it was a couple minutes worth, and it liked to pull my shoulder out of my socket. Well, then she came back out, and I drew back on her again because I thought for sure, here's my chance. Then she ran, and I didn't ever get a shot off.
Jack this guy's shoulder up so bad.
Yeah. So I can pinpoint that was the day that it really started bothering me. And I'm to the point now where, man, in the late season there, so I kill a buck during the rut, then don't have to hunt with my bow until after gun season. Mm-hmm. So it was a few weeks. And basically then December hits and I'm, practicing. It was just, then late season, it's cold. It was just hurting. Well, it has not gone away. I mean, I can't, there's certain motions, like once I get to this rotation, anything from here back or scratching my back or, there's certain rotations that hurt so bad. It's like, all right, I need, so, and I know you're not a physical therapist, but are there any exercises, band work that you would recommend in general to kind of help strengthen it back up?
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, we do a lot of therapy in our office for that same motion that you're talking about, Matt. The motion of the rotator cuffs that you're going to want to do, you're going to want to do internal and external rotation, whether your elbows, arm is up or if it's actually to your side. You want to do those abduction, adduction type of exercises to really strengthen that up. And to your point, most shoulder injuries are, like you said, when you're letting the bow down, not necessarily coming back with it. The rotator cuff muscles are the muscles that come from the back and they will come across, and their job is to hold the arm bone, which is a humerus, into its socket. So basically that's what holds that shoulder together. There's not a real deep socket for that arm to set in. So when those muscles coming around and you're at holding back, whenever you go to let down and they're trying to hold that back into place, they really have the most strain when you're trying to let that down. Same way when a pitcher will throw, say like when Adam throws as hard as you can throw, when he's going forward with it, those muscles are pulling back to hold that arm into place. So that's why they're most commonly torn through pitchers instead of any other baseball players out there.
I need a diagram.
When you start looking at anatomical images of how our bodies are put together, it's amazing. And it's unreal. Just the different forces, the complex forces that are on joints and how we're just incredible animals, but
not me and you personally, but
no, we're like
human body,
physical specimens.
Yeah, we're specimens. All right. Broke down, broke in,
complaining about it and stuff. And so right now I'm dealing with about a tennis elbow, and I got it like mid-December. It was before Christmas, and I was still able to draw, but man, it was painful. And so I've been seeing a chiropractor for it, and I got the compression strap on there, but that's something that I've got to get cured of it because it really impacts my daily life. And it makes me think twice about coming to full draw because I know it's not going to feel good.
Yeah.
So in the case of tennis elbow, how does someone first prevent it? And then if they get it, how do they come out of it?
Yeah, prevention is one of those things, again, like the rotator cuff, it happens before you know it ever really is going to happen to you. But as far as taking care of it, the main thing is, and it's not for everything in therapy, but the phrase no pain, no gain doesn't apply to you. However, with tendonitis, like with the golfer's elbow or tennis elbow, you kind of have to work through that. You're going to have to work to break those little adhesions up in the tendon and get them to re-stretch back out. So the band is perfect because it will hold it for a period of time, but it's going to take some therapy into that tendon to really get it to function the way it's supposed to again before it's not something that kind of comes on and off.
Yeah. So in all that therapy, is band work the best medicine?
I definitely like band work better than just free weights. Band work on the shoulder or the wrist and the tendons, you're going to have tension, and flexion and extension in both motions back and forth. So,
and bands you can get those at Walmart in the sporting section. I mean, you can.
Oh yeah, you can get them fairly cheap.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and cheap. It's probably the cheapest way to kind of get it back into form, isn't it?
Oh, by all means, yeah, definitely the cheapest way. Way cheaper than buying iron.
Yeah,
and safer.
You just got to be careful that if you're trying to do this stuff at home, that you're like, there's plenty of documentation online that you could print out that kind of gives you the motions that you need to, and the angles that you got to take so that you don't mess it up even worse. Mm-hmm. I would recommend going to see somebody first.
Yeah.
Let's put this disclaimer out there.
Bric is a doctor. You and I are not doctors. So don't anyone go taking our advice.
Although my initials are MD. So
you should go with that.
There you go.
So what's your name? Well, don't worry about my name. Just I'm a medical doctor.
Yeah.
What other injuries do bow hunters have to watch out for, shoulder, arm wise?
The other one that you want to watch out for too is any kind of bicep. Well, it's kind of like we talked about before we got into this one was Rick Malik biceps tendons. Sometimes you can get a biceps tendon tear, and a lot of times those will also create dysfunction, which then lead into rotator cuff or vice versa. But biceps tendon tendonitis or tear are very common. Like I said, Rick Malik. Well, actually, Sean Lundy just went through surgery, and Sean had his rotator cuff and his biceps fixed at the same time, and he's slinged up right now too.
That's right.
It's hard, I think, in general for people, but especially for guys who are active and like being involved in, land management and hunting and everything, to take it easy.
Or if you get injured, to take the time to actually get it fixed properly.
Yeah. It took me 2 months to finally figure like, screw it. I'm tired of this being an issue. I've got to go see someone, thinking I can fix it myself.
Yeah. Usually hunters are the one that have a lot of grit. They're not willing to take off time from the woods or from the jobs to go get these things fixed. But if not, if it continues to plague them, it can lead into further damage. And then it leads into a major surgery. Like Sean, he's had, I think he told me 7 shots through the years in his shoulder to try to mask the pain, and finally got to the point he had to have something done. But that's why he had it done now, because the only time he could do it before he had to still to bow hunt this fall is to do it now. Yeah. So, but most guys just don't take the time.
Is that really what cortisone does? It just masks the pain, or does it actually do anything physically?
No, it physically does. What it'll do is it's basically a heavy dose anti-inflammatory. So it will reduce inflammation in the tendon, so the tendonitis isn't so painful. But if the dysfunction is still there, it eventually will come back. But it can be damaging to the joint. Usually most won't give you but 3 shots a year. Every 3 to 4 months is all you can get one into a certain capsule.
So that has a certain lifespan because of the negative side.
It does. It starts to leach the calcium, and then it's more a risk of soft tissue or connective tissue injuries or avulsion fractures.
Okay. Gotcha. One of my favorite memories is shortly after my left shoulder dislocated, I was shooting my bow in my backyard, and I took a shot, and I don't know what was different about it, but my shoulder dislocated forward, the bow hand. So the bow is it's still in the sling on my wrist, so the bow is hanging there, my arm's hanging there on my side, and your
shirt's holding it all together.
Right, it's just held on my skin. And I had to like pull the bow off my left hand because I couldn't work, my left hand very well.
What was it? That movie? It wasn't the Die Hard series.
Lethal Weapon.
Lethal Weapon. What'd you have to just go run into something like?
I had finally, by that point, and I wasn't lifting weights at that point, and so my shoulder was pretty weak, which also meant it dislocated easily, but it also reduced easily, so I was able to get it back in on my own. But I don't know where the arrow went. Because I shot it. Probably vaporized.
Matt, let's cut that part out.
That's why I had an arrow in my pool.
Always identify your target, Tim.
Right. It's that cloud.
I guess you can't really predict an old shoulder dislocation on the bow arm.
Yeah, no, I mean, that
seems counterintuitive.
Had I know it was coming.
Seems like that would not be the arm that would be dislocated.
Yeah, I mean, normally when you're at full draw, there's forces pushing back in there, but I guess like at the shot,
you were so dainty.
Maybe that I'm a spry man, but at the shot, maybe a little bit of force going forward was what pulled it out. But then the other worst part was there were people watching.
Oh,
and so I made some kind of noise at the shot. Oh no. This is how you arch. People.
Yeah. So another great podcast in the books. We brought this down to a Corona level, just like you expected us to.
We have Craig from Rockford might be able to help us out with our question of the day.
Heck, we're still going to answer a question. All right. Question of the day is brought to you by Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's. Your adventure starts here.
Hi, my name is Craig Goodwin. I live in Rockford, Illinois. My question is, I've been deer hunting for about 4 years, and I have river bottoms that I can hunt, and they told me I can make food plots. What would be the best food plot material to start to draw in the deer? I mean, they eat the native grass, but I want to make a little like an acre, less than an acre area to draw the deer in, what would be the best way to start, and what would be the best material or food to plant to draw the deer in? And again, my name is Craig Goodwin. I'm from Rockford, Illinois. And I thank you very much for listening to my question.
You're welcome. Thank you for listening to the show, Craig. And sometimes it sounds like our listeners are being held hostage and they're reading a ransom letter.
My name is, but hey, that's not easy. We should delete that whole part. Berating the guests.
Craig's cool. He'll be cool with it. So I figured you're an Illinois boy. Obviously, Illinois is very different top to bottom, but river bottom land, that's probably pretty fertile soil, and there's bucks are probably traveling that quite a bit, but just kind of taking a stab at it. What do you think, Bric?
Yeah, so actually where my farm is, I'm actually right in the river country. I'm right on the Ohio River. We've got the Wabash River and a lot of them that come in this area. So first thing I would do is, and I think, Matt, your farm up in Missouri is kind of the river. I would make sure and see, does it flood during the season? And if it doesn't, I don't know really what to do. But if it doesn't flood and it's a softer ground, I would go, especially if it's only an acre, I would go something that produces a lot of tonnage. I would look at doing either maximum winter bulbs, sugar beets. With that soft soil, they're going to expand and really make some big bulbs, and you're going to have the big forage tops. If it's something that's real wet or holds water, I would go oats, trophy oats.
Yeah. Makes sense.
I couldn't give you any expertise here because my place has been flooded since we bought it.
It's great for waterfowl.
We planted a lot of stuff, but it never, it always floods about 2 weeks after I get it in the ground.
Makes for some really neat time lapse from your Reconyx cameras.
Yeah,
but that's about all you get out of it.
Yeah.
Oh. All right, Craig, thank you for the question. We appreciate it. Hopefully that helps you out. If you want to leave a question, go to DrearOutdoors.com/podcast and click the send voicemail button. It's easy. It's quick. Be quick about it and give us your name and location and what you're wondering about.
And we promise Tim won't make fun of anybody else on the podcast.
That's how you know you're in the club, when you're cool enough to be made fun of.
Yeah.
And actually we're making fun with.
I've been in the club a long time.
People who don't know
the
you are
Mark and Terry
in your club.
M&T.
Well, we got a wildlife word.
Let's
pound this thing out.
Don't say that. Let's do it. Don't say that either. Let's hear it.
Clean slate. This week's wildlife word is thermoregulation. Sound familiar to anybody?
Sounds technical, that's for sure.
Sounds like it's a word. Thermoregulation is the ability of an organism to keep its body temperature within certain boundaries, even when the surrounding temperature is very different. Shivering and sweating are examples of how humans thermoregulate.
Like at the beginning of this podcast, you were shivering.
Yeah.
Now we're sweating.
No, like flop sweating. It's like, can we be done with this?
Yes. Yes.
Thermoregulation. You're welcome, everybody.
I kind of knew it. Kind of didn't.
Kind of doesn't count.
Well,
you lost your point for.
If it was here's what I would say. If it was multiple choice, I probably would have got it right.
Okay, so maybe I'll start doing some multiple choice in the fuer. And we'll see.
That would be fun. Let's see how I do. Yeah, man, let's do it. Now we're my speed.
Yes,
multiple choice.
AC/DC.
Well, are all the above? You know that choice.
Oh, there's got to be some of those. Yeah,
all the above.
Yeah. All right. Next week,
I would go true or false. That way it's 50-50.
Yeah. I did decent in my ACTs with this strategy.
There's an art to taking tests.
Yeah.
You don't even have to know the content. If you know how to take a test, you can do okay. Mm-hmm. Not saying that's your case, but it probably was.
It was. So.
All right. Thanks everybody for watching.
Some people are street smart, not book smart.
Some aren't either. Ding.
Don't be looking at me. I don't like the way you're looking at me.
Bric, I know you've got
more important things to do.
Go. Right. Yeah, that too. Patience to see. Thank you for hopping on. We really appreciate it.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Hey, our
pleasure. Thank you for being had. We appreciate everyone tuning in. Hopefully everyone's staying healthy and safe and sane and all that good stuff.
Bric, before we go, are you at least a little bit worried about having, patients come in? Are you taking any extra precautions there at your facility?
we're just doing the basics that I think everybody's doing right now. There's nobody in our region that has it, but we're still, I'm washing my hands between every patient because I'm, physically touching them. We're making sure the tables are cleaned after every patient. We've got hand sanitizer everywhere, but
stuff you were doing.
Just trying to do everything we can to keep it clean.
That's probably stuff you were already doing, though.
Yeah, for sure.
Say yes.
So business as usual.
Yes.
Yeah, business as usual.
Well, I'd like to say the same, but we unfortunately do have a case near here that was positive. And so,
a couple cases now.
So this is it. So if this is the last podcast we ever do, I'm sorry.
All we can do is apologize.
I feel honored to be on it then.
We ended with a bang.
Like the violins playing on the Titanic. All right. Thanks, Bric.
All right. Till next time. Peace out.
Guys.
See ya.
Be safe. Wash those hands. We're adding new videos every week, so make sure to click that subscribe button and check out all of our amazing content. This episode of DoD TV was brought to you by Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's.